Ayush, good evening. Varsi, good evening. Tell me once if I'm audible. Good evening, everybody. Namaste. Very confused about the reality question. Okay, we will discuss all. Don't worry, we will be discussing all the questions, subjective, objective, everything. Okay. So before we begin, you have fourth number. Okay, let's see. I'll tell you all the answers. And you have, I thought of doing this answer key discussion today only because you have few days gap before your next exam. So we will start discussing this one, finish it off so that आप शांत से एकदम खुशी खुशी next के लिए prepare कर सके. Paper was very easy, I believe. Whatever we have discussed, I think that exact subjective question was copy pasted. And many questions you got common. Rarely one or two questions I believe that came were not discussed. Otherwise, everything else was discussed in the paper. So I believe if you have followed my YouTube channel also properly, you have scored very well. And if you have been enrolled to my private classes, I believe all your answers you could write. And those who are new to the channel, my name is Reshmi Mukherjee. And for your information, we are going to do whatever book you are going to get the next year, whether it is Macbeth or whichever book. We are going to continue with that. Don't worry. Same way, we are going to do question papers in the end of the series. I will give you recorded classes of chapters. Okay, वेबसाइट में भी आपको मिल जाएगा explanation फिर question answers just like those who are in class 10 now. I mean those who are not giving the board exam, the other batch who have come from class 9 to class 10, for them written materials are already provided from the previous treasure trove books and the Merchant of Venice books. You can get it. Telegram channel, you will get it in the description box. You can join it for the live classes. Hitesh and Naitik, thank you so much for this. I have got a lot many messages stating that you have got common questions, you have scored good marks because of my channel. I'm so thankful for to all of you that you remembered me. Just after the exam was over, I got so many messages. I'm so thankful to all of you. And when I saw the question paper, I was also very happy कि अच्छा सारे questions अच्छे आए हैं. So for those who are asking about the batch, the private batch that starts from April, you have to enroll by April or May. After that, it is not possible. Those interested, you have to mail to this email ID. Do not forget to mention your class. If you do not mention your class, it becomes another problem. I have to mail you back. So just mention your class at least, if not the state and desired class. Okay. क्लास टाइमिंग्स ये सेम रहेंगे फॉर द नेक्स्ट ईयर ऑल्सो. इफ नॉट आई डिसाइड टू ऐड अ क्लास, it will be same as this. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. Class days will be same. Maybe class timings I will try to bring them little early, maybe 9, 8. This 9:45 may come to 9 if possible. Okay. And yes, Macbeth and Julius Caesar also. I will do it over here. Don't worry about that. Actually, when I was in class 10, 11 and 12, we had Julius Caesar in 9, 10, and in 11, 12, we had Macbeth. Okay, so it is a good thing that again the same books are coming. So if you want, you can share your question papers. The students who have come from class 9 to class 10, their papers, language papers, you can still share them in the same email ID in the PDF format. Okay, this is the email ID. All right, so that's all. Good evening, everyone. I hope many of you have already joined. So let's move to the question paper. Section A part. The first question. First question, बता दो, what was the blue bead? Shubham Sharma. So glad to hear this. What is the first answer? Very good. First answer is a piece of perforated glass. In H.C. Anderson's story, what forces the little match girl to go about selling matches on the street? Poverty, greed, weather, desire for wealth? Yati Tiwari, not B. Again, 2 also A, not greed, poverty. Okay, she was poor, that's why. Number 3, why Long said something must be eating you. ये question तो हमने कितने बार किया है class में. What is this? What is the meaning of this? Not hungry, not amused, not ashamed. It is troubled by something. Option number B. Pre B, correct. Number 4, we will keep her a day or two longer. She is so weak and helpless. Who said these words and to whom? Nomad Sanjeev, it is my pleasure. Thank you so much for this comment. To all of you who are writing this, thank you so much. Of course, 4B Jane Thompson to her husband. Number 5, what was the very first thing that the children noticed? Very first thing, remember when they were described, when the scene was described with that tornado suddenly changed into something which was very calm and peaceful. So it will be the silence. Number C. Preetham, correct. Paper was very bad. No, we cannot call the paper bad. Paper was easy. Of course, if you have studied properly, even if you have followed my YouTube channel, if not the private class, my YouTube channel also, you could have scored good marks. Yes, 16 out of 16 it is possible. Which of the following lines tells us that poet Wordsworth carried a mental picture 10,000 to at a glance? How is it possible? That time he saw, little thought, that means that time he did not even think. Fluttering and dancing, at that moment he saw this. Flash upon the inward eye is the correct answer. Number B. 6B. Question and answer little bit difficult. No, I don't think so. I saw the questions. I'll tell you, you will see. Let's see. Seventh one. Why, according to Maya Angelou, does the caged bird sing? Why? Why does the caged bird sing? To pass the time. See, such bad options. Hungry for fat worms though? Caged bird nahi the, free birds the. Communicate with the free bird? No, they are not communicating. Voice his protest. Number. No, it's not like that. If you have written the correct answers, even if, for example, often I do not remember the keywords. Okay, but I remember the answer, how to write about it. You can use other words, but idea should be correct. Next one, number 8. The line "the house roofs seemed to heave and sway" in Browning's poem The Patriot means the roofs of the houses were swaying in the wind? No, incorrect. Roofs were so crowded with people that they appear to be heaving and swaying. Alright. Roofs were lifted off due to earthquake. Nothing as such happened. Blown away. ये कैसे हो सकता है heavy rain? Option number B, 8B. Identify the list in which Abu Ben Adam's name appeared right at the top. I'm coming to that, real fan. I will come to all the questions, okay? Just go slowly. We will finish it as fast as possible. We will not waste much time. Exam is over, so let's not waste much time. 9, identify the list in which Abu Ben Adam's name appeared. Those who were blessed by the love of God. Option number C. Number 10, what special human quality? Human quality. Empathy, jealous. These are all negative. No, this is not a good quality only. So this is empathy, feeling for the others. 9. And number 10 is A. Correct. Next, heads out 11A. No, 11 is not A. 10 is A. To whom does Portia compare Bassanio? Comparing Bassanio. Act 4 scene 1 से आएंगे. Sorry, Act 3 scene 2 से. Midas, no. Mercury, no. Hesione, no. It will be 11, option number D. Hercules, remember? Alcides, Hercules, I told you to write it. Alcides के साथ Hercules के साथ Bassanio, Hesione के साथ Portia, like that. Number 12, Dash was Portia's faithful servant. Yes, Mike. Even in the last class, I was saying, no, angel in disguise. फिर वो Merchant of Venice का Act 4 से questions आएगा. Act 4 scene 1 से. Then caged bird, I told even last class. Yes, this is Balthazar. Balthazar, we don't know much about Stefano. He was just a servant. Faithful servant, if it is asked, will be Balthazar. Next, number 13. Why does Portia ask Shylock if he had Shinondi? Yes, correct. Why does Portia ask Shylock if he had arranged for a surgeon? She wanted to make sure that Antonio Yes, we will discuss all. She wanted to make sure that Antonio would not bleed to death. Mention it was not mentioned in the bond. No, वहाँ पे लिखा नहीं था. Wanted to stop. Bassanio was not hurting anybody. She was afraid she would faint. There is no such thing. So option number A, 13A. 14. According to Lorenzo, a man who is unmoved by music is tone deaf. No. Self-absorbed. No. Not fit to live. No. So number 14 will be not to be trusted. Number B. Correct. Next, number 15. A Daniel come to judgment. ये a Daniel. The question अगर answers में underline नहीं किए हो तो marks कम मिलते हैं. नहीं. Shiv Chauhan, there is nothing as such. If you have underlined, it's good. If you have not underlined, then also it's fine. Nobody will deduct your marks. So 15 is option number D, Portia. Who is being described? Daniel बोल के किसको मतलब describe कर रहे हैं हम? Portia. कौन describe कर रहा है? Shylock. Next, number 16, last question from section A part. Number 16, what reason does Portia give for refusing the Duke's invitation to dinner? Sixteen will be she had to return to Padua that night. Okay, this is the reason she mentioned. Reason does Portia give? She herself said that she had to return to Padua. So I believe you have scored at least 15 or 16 over here out of 16. Next, we will move to question number 2. This part has come from which scene and which act? This is from Act 3, Scene 4, right? Lorenzo. When Portia is leaving the house for Lorenzo. अगर extra question attempt करे तो examiner check करते हैं because they will strike out the last answer that you have written. Do not do that. Do not waste your time like that for the other exams. Okay. Check what questions you know best. Okay. Because the examiner is not going to waste time reading all your answers and checking कि कौन सा answer आपने better लिखे है उस पे marks देगा. ऐसा नहीं करेगा. So 14 out of 16. Okay. Good. Let's move to the next one. So this is Act 4, Act 3, Scene 4, right? So I will even tell you the portions, the answers. Who does Portia refer to as my lord? Of course, this is Bassanio. I'm just telling the answers. You check, okay? Where is her lord? Her lord had left for Venice. Why had he left in such haste? Haste means hurry. He had left Belmont in such hurry or in such haste because Antonio was in a difficult situation. His ships had not returned to the port. He was a bankrupt, and then he would be unable to pay Shylock's money, and it had also the time period had also exceeded. Okay. Number 2, what does Portia ask Lorenzo to do? This is already written in the extract. Yes, simply यहाँ पे अगर to rescue Antonio from the clutches of to rescue the bankrupt Antonio from the clutches of Shylock, that also is okay for this answer because it is just a single mark. What does Portia ask Lorenzo to do? Of course, to take care or to manage the activities in her house, in her mansion. Why does she make this request? Because she would be leaving Belmont soon after. Okay, and she was planning to visit Venice to help Antonio. Okay. Number 3, explain in your own words the secret vow that Portia speaks of. What is the secret vow? So it is written, okay, to live in prayer and contemplation only attended by Nerissa here until her husband and my lord's return. So the secret promise or the secret promise that Portia had made to herself was that she would spend her time worshipping or in prayer with Nerissa till her husband and Nerissa's husband returned to Belmont. No. Love and compulsion forced her to request. No, she was going somewhere. No, that's why she wanted to hide. You can write this that she wanted to hide Lorenzo from knowing where she was actually going. So she made this request uh, to Lorenzo. Okay, that point you can write. What instructions does Portia give to her husband a little later? To her servant a little later. This one is Balthazar's part. That she says that Balthazar is a honest and truthful servant to her, and he asks him to take a letter and give it to the man in Padua, okay, Dr. Bellario in Padua, who is her cousin, as fast as possible, and then collect from him whatever garments and letter he gives, and come to the common ferry that trades to Venice. Okay, so see, in MCQ, the MCQ was extremely easy. So as much as you can score over there, it is better. So number 5, the last question from here. What do we learn of Portia's real intention from her conversation with Nerissa? Real intention was that she wanted to go to Venice to save Antonio from the clutches of Shylock. First part, 1 mark. Which Portia do you prefer? The modest Portia of the casket scene or the business-like Portia we meet in this scene? You have to give one reason. So anyone you choose, you can write. This is your value-based question. So for example, if I want to write about the business-like Portia, I can say that modest Portia appears, very cliched, where the girl of the 16th century is unable to speak out her heart that she loves Bassanio. Okay, however, the business-like Portia in Yes, the business-like Portia was witty enough. She knew how to look like a young boy. Okay, because she knew she cannot behave like a grown-up man, because her voice would be like a girl only, like a lady. So she could talk in a reed voice and appear like a young boy. So she was witty. She was intelligent. She was, she was very helpful. Okay, she was a philanthropist. Yesterday, remember MCQs we were doing. You can add those same words. So, ho gaya, one reason. Okay. Instead of secret promise, I wrote secret. Ah, correct, correct. Secret oath is also correct. Wit and intelligence, she saves and she tries to save Antonio. She's a philanthropic. She wants to help other people. Okay, all these are something. All these are the things that I like about Portia, rather than the meek, shy girl who cannot choose, who has no, what should I say, who has no power to choose her own husband. She's kind and generous. Any point that you want, you can write. Question number 2 में कोई problem नहीं है, I believe. Next, question number 3. We are here again, as I told you yesterday. Act 4, Scene 1. You have to prepare. So Act 4, Scene 1 say this is the question. If you have your book, if you have this Morning Star edition, it is in page number 104. Okay, so not 104, I believe. 127, huh? Yes. 127. What are the questions? First one, what is the principal that Shylock asks for? The principal is the 3,000 ducats, the principal amount, the main amount that Shylock had given. No, heads out, they will not reduce. If you give the idea, if you give the logical explanation, you may not write the exact word. Why does Portia refuse to give it to him? Portia refuses to give it to him because Shylock was requested before a huge number of times to show mercy, to take the money, but Shylock had repeatedly suggested and adamantly asked for the uh, this thing, for what is it, for the pound of flesh. So that is why he is going to get only that and nothing else. Because when she tries to stretch the time to spend more time, then doing more to lose her. Umbro edits, which one are you talking about? Casket one, because casket one, because she tries to stretch the time. She's a this you yes, of course you can talk about this. It is your choice, no, value based. It does not depend what your teacher is saying. It does not depend on what I choose. It is your opinion. If you think that that girl was a very honest girl, she was trying to speak out her heart, her love for Bassanio. However, in the second part, business like, she is trying to fool somebody, fool the people in Venice. That's why I feel that the lover Portia is better than that. Alright, that is also correct. Real fan, that is your choice. No teacher will deduct marks for that. Okay, you have to give a reason to support your answer. Somebody can love the lover Portia, somebody can love the wise, witty, intelligent Portia. both are correct, whatever you write. Okay, but you have to suggest, give a reason why you like that particular person. Okay, you will get marks if you have written, I like the lover in Portia, her devotion to Bassanio. That is also correct. What is the forfeiture they are referring to? Of course, the penalty of providing a 1 pound of flesh of Antonio if he is unable to pay within the time. What danger or peril would Shylock be in if he took the forfeiture? Now, this one will be whatever was told before this extract. Okay, because see, what further hold does the law? That means in third question you will write what was said after the extract. Okay, but question number 2 we will write before the extract. So before the extract there were two holds. First was that if there was any blood loss of Antonio, then he is going to lose his property. And second case, if he cuts more or less than a pound of flesh, even by the weight of a hair, okay, then his life would be at stake. He will lose his life as well as his property. That is the peril. Number 3, uh, he is brave and bold. She was not coward. Is that yes, correct, Nishant? Can we write she went to Venice to save Antonio, got sacred vow? Now, whole thing you have to say कि monastery में जाएंगे. What is the secret vow? What she tells over there is her secret vow. That you have to write. This is incorrect. What further hold? This one further hold is the next part, that if an alien or if a foreigner tries to harm somebody who is a Venetian citizen, okay, that is Antonio, directly or indirectly, which Shylock had actually done, he's going to lose all his property, and half of his property would go to the state coffers and half of it would go to Antonio, and his life would be also at the mercy of the duke. This is the third answer. Okay, number 4, what concession does Antonio offer to Shylock? Foreigner refers to the Jews, yes. What concession does Antonio offer to Shylock? So concession Antonio offers. Now for this one you have to write that Antonio says, the next page Antonio says that he will, as long as he will let me have the other half in use, Antonio is going to take the other half, the half of Antonio, Shylock's property, and will just protect the money. But after Shylock's death, all that money will go to the gentleman that stole his daughter. That means it would go to Lorenzo. Okay. And then on what condition would he do so? What is the condition? Two conditions: that he has to change his religion to Christianity, and second, he will make a deed of gift, or he would make a will, whatever word you use. Okay, whatever word you can use, either will or you say the deed of gift, he has to mention over there that all his property after his death would go to Lorenzo and his daughter. These are the conditions. Okay. Next one. Why is Shylock in a hurry to leave the courtroom after the trial? Why is Shylock in a hurry? The reason that was given was that Shylock was not feeling well. But actually Shylock was, in a devastated state. This word also you can use. How far can Shylock be blamed for the outcome of the trial? Now Shylock, what we have to write is, good evening. No, not. It is okay if you don't write. Directly or indirectly, what if you don't mention? That is also fine. Okay, so because that is not the most important thing over here. So Shylock be blamed for the outcome. What we will have to write here, first we have to mention that Shylock was of course angry with Antonio. We realize that, we understand that there was good enough reasons for Shylock to be angry on Antonio. Okay, however, what Shylock was attempting was a crime. He was trying to kill somebody, kill Antonio. There is there can be no reason for which we can kill somebody. So Shylock moved to an extreme extent which he should not have done, and therefore he had to pay for it rather brutally. He lost his religion, even that he loved so much. Okay, so that will be your answer. So this is our section B part. I believe all your answers you have got. Okay, no doubts. He was blind in hatred. Yes, this is also a good word. I've written he felt betrayed. Uh, he felt see, how far can you blame Shylock? We can of course blame him for this, that मतलब ऐसा है कि for example somebody has slapped you, it does not mean that you will go and kill that person. There are other ways to take revenge. So what he was trying was completely incorrect, right? And therefore he had to pay so brutally. Take the principle in open court. Yes, he had refused to take it, and therefore he lost every single his wealth, his religion, everything. Yes. Okay, so let's move to section C part. Our Merchant of Venice, finally it's over, so let's keep it aside. Next, we have section C. You can write that about loopholes. I believe you should have mentioned, best would be that if you had mentioned that he should not have tried to kill some person in the code itself. Okay, that is something which is very cruel. ब्लू बीट नहीं आया तो अच्छा ही है ना, किसी को सबको प्रॉब्लम था ब्लू बीट से, तो अच्छा है कि नहीं आया. आउटकम ऑफ द ट्रायल, no, outcome of the trial kya tha, what was the outcome, you may not mention. He lost everything. If you had highlighted that as a reason, it would have been good. I'm not ignoring anybody over here. जिसका भी आंसर मुझे दिख रहा है, I'm telling you, it's going so fast. I'm unable to see all. Na? Section C. Okay, let's move to section C. So what is to be done with the children? Now this is from which part? This is of course from Angel in Disguise that I told you in the last class. I have practiced a number of papers with you because it was very important. So this is page number 77. Same question, exactly same question we have discussed, isn't it? Describe the way in which the children's mother died. How did she die? She had fallen upon the threshold of her own door in a drunken fit. This is the answer. Okay. Next, what are the factors that led to her death? First line of your chapter. Idleness, vice, and intemperance. If you don't remember the words, she was idle. She did not work much. She had evil. She used to do evil deeds, and she had lack of restraint or lack of self-control. Okay. How do the people of the village treat the woman before her death? How many times I have told you, death touches the spring of our common humanity part. Par ki jana. It has come. How do the people of the village treat before her death? Before her death, the people despised her. People did not like her. They were angry because she was a drunkard. She wasted her time, and she was not a good lady. This is the first part. How does their manner change after she dies? It was changed into pity. So people came to her. So previously people were angry on her. Now people were they had some kind of a little bit of sympathy towards her. They came hastily to the heart. Okay, and they provided the half starving children some old clothes, some food. Okay. So this is done. What does their behavior tell us about human nature? This is death touches the spring of our common humanity. Idleness point you have not written. See, anyway, there is only what are the factors that led to her death? No, this one you had to write. 3 points: idleness, vice, and intemperance. Yes, humanity springs. Humanity is just like it develops in the heart of people when the person dies. It's kind of spring, the start of that human feeling when somebody is dead, when somebody is no longer around us. That is the human behavior. Number 3, name the woman's 3 children. I don't think I have to even tell you. This is Kate. This is John, the oldest. Kate was the younger one. I told you do not write Katie. It is Kate. And third one is Maggie. State one fact about each of them that the author mentions at the beginning of the story. Same first page 77. John was the oldest boy. You can say he was a boy. He was a boy of 12. He was a stout lad. He was able to earn a living with the farmer. Okay. You can write about Kate. She was 10 and 11. She was a bright, active girl. Any one point. Okay, so many points I'm telling. If you have written any one point of each children, of each child, you are okay with it. Maggie, she was the youngest. She was diseased. If you write she had fallen from the window and hurt her spine, that is also correct. Okay. Next, number 4, what happens to each of the children after the mother's funeral? Pretty direct questions have come. So first, the oldest boy, Farmer Jones, उसको उठा के ले गया to benefit in farming. Okay, second one, Mrs. Ellis took her away. She would be living as a bound girl. And what happens to the last child? The last child, nobody was ready to take her because she was diseased. And however, finally, the Thompson family accepted her. Human nature is momentary. No, you cannot write. Death touches the spring of humanity, that you had to write. मीनिंग ही अलग है ना. मोमेंट्री मतलब फिकल माइंडेड पीपल है जो हर एक बार चेंज करते हैं, वैसा नहीं है. यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं कि कोई मर जाए तो उसके लिए हम लोगों का फीलिंग्स मतलब इट डेवलप्स, इट ग्रोज. ओके, दैट यू हैव टू राइट. Which of the three children can be considered the angel in disguise? Of course, Maggie. Sorry, what is the name? Maggie only, no? Yes. Maggie, what does the term disguise refer to in the context? Disguise means something which is not revealed, something which is hidden, refer to in the context of the story. So, in the context of the story, we can say that the girl looked hopelessly diseased. Nobody was interested in taking her. However, when she went to their family, okay, when she went to the family of the Thompsons, she filled uh, their life with happiness. Would not have, yes, this also you can say she would have listened to everybody uh, when they were requesting. Okay, so we should listen to certain requests at certain times. This also you can say. How does the child's arrival transform the home she enters? This one, uh, वो चैप्टर, वो ऑथर के बारे में जो बॉक्स में दिया होता है उसमें पूरा आंसर दिया हुआ है. चाइल्ड्स अराइवल ट्रांसफॉर्म्स द होम. जो थॉमसन्स वाइफ हैड बिकम vinegar tempered because she was deprived of the love of a child. No child was born to her, and therefore she became a very self-inflicting lady. However, when Maggie came to their house, her life filled with happiness, and she could not live without the child any longer. Okay, you can even add that all the dreary chambers of the house of Thompsons were filled with the sunshine of love. Human soul or heart. Ma'am, I have written death touches the human soul or heart, and they थोड़ा सा explain भी कर देना कि and they feel more about that particular person. Okay, so we are over with angel in disguise. Let's move to question number 5, Margaret's question, which is all summer in a day. चलो all summer in a day पे चलते हैं. This is page 109, right? Yes. All are angry with her, but when she is dead, all became emotional. Um, yes, that also is correct. Who is Margaret? We know she's a girl 9 years old living in planet Venus. How does the author describe her? You can even say she used to live in Ohio when she was on Earth. Okay, till she was age 4. How does the author describe her? Now, ये question हमने कितनी बार किया है class में. She was a very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years. Okay, it seemed that the blue from her eyes were washed away, the red from her mouth, and the yellow from her hair was washed away. She was like an old photograph dusted from an album. Whatever point, 2 points you have written. Any of the 2 points, if you have written, you get the marks. Who are they? They are the children who lived on planet Venus. Where do they live? They live on planet Venus in the underground tunnels. Mention underground tunnels, you have to mention. Okay, underground tunnels in planet Venus. 2 points. Any one reality of the planet on which they live. Reality of the planet, that means anything about the planet. Sympathy grew in the hearts of the neighbors. Okay. Yes, he was described as an old, as a photograph from an album. Okay, old photograph. And one reality, anything, it rained for continuously over there every 7 years. Only one sun could be seen. Any one reality of the planet. Right? What are the two words you would use to describe the children's experience? What you can write is guilt, conscience. You can write two words. You can even write shame and remorse. Okay. Why does the mention of Margaret's name affect them in this way? The mention of Margaret's name affected them that way because they had completely forgotten that they had locked Margaret in the closet. Okay, they had thought that they would put her over there for a few minutes and then they would bring her out. They would teach her a lesson. They were jealous of her, so they wanted to teach her a lesson. They did not want to keep her there throughout. They did not want to deprive her completely of that beautiful sun. Okay, so they were guilt conscious. They were ashamed. They were filled with remorse. Okay. Number 4 and number 5, what event had the children awaited early that day? Of course, seeing the sun after 7 years. What made this event special? Every 7 years, sun shone in planet Venus, so it was a very special event, and that happened for a single hour only. Why did this even mean so much to Margaret in particular? Margaret had come from planet Earth just 5 years back. Okay, so but the others, they did not even remember the sun. But Margaret remembered the warmth, the warmth, the memory of sun, the warmth of the sun. She loved and she missed it terribly. She was disgusted with the sound of constant rainfall. Okay, so it was very important for Margaret. Even her poems, even her interest was only in that sun, seeing the sun. So it was very important to Margaret. What is the central theme of Bradbury's story All Summer in a Day? Now, central theme All Summer in a Day, you can write that the story explores the darker side. I always tell you ना जो ऑथर के बारे में लिखा हुआ होता है उसका जो जो बॉक्स है वो थोड़ा सा रीड करके जाओ मतलब ऑथर के बारे में कुछ नहीं पढ़ना है थोड़ा सा जो इंफॉर्मेशन दिया रहता है ना अबाउट द स्टोरी दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट इट हैज कम फ्रॉम देयर ओनली central theme. The story explores the darker side of human nature. Even even children are involved over there. The jealousy is born in children also. Okay, and they were ready to inflict so much pain on Margaret. Sorry, Margaret only. No? Yes, Margaret. What important? That is all we have to write. What important lesson have the children learned from this experience? Um, they had learned that many children are different. We should not humiliate them. Often in the class we see कि कोई introvert बच्चा दूर पे बैठे हैं, we make fun of that particular child. Okay, we don't go and talk to them. But that person also must be feeling something very मतलब उसको उसका feelings अलग है. Okay, she or he sees the world differently. We should not make fun of anybody. We should not joke and bother somebody, bully anybody. Okay, so that important lesson is we should not bully anybody because people might be feeling differently in different times. All people are not same. Yes, never to treat anybody badly. Why do you suppose the story is said to end on a note of hope? Because over here we feel no, that the children, perhaps as they are feeling shameful of their action, they are filled with remorse, and they know that they have done something which is thoughtless, bad. So perhaps they will never do this again. They have realized that Margaret was missing the sun, and of course, sun is something to be missed. Okay, and they could feel her pain. We are unable to feel the pain of a tree, no, and we keep hurting that tree with maybe a rod because we don't feel that tree is feeling the pain. We don't realize others pain. Okay, we are not empathetic. Note of hope इसी में है कि perhaps ये बच्चे बाद में समझ जाएंगे and they will not bother others any longer. Okay, so we have come to an end to the prose part also, right? Now section D is the only part which is left. Whenever she used to play with other children and when she used to get tagged, she got scared. And the question number 1, I wrote that harass someone for last question. That is also correct. Second part. Second part of the fifth question. If you have written only should not harass, then it is wrong. Central theme भी है, फिर note of hope भी है, वो भी parts में आएगा. What does Portia, as she is timid, shy, and hesitant as a maiden, should be? Mayank, that is also correct. Guilty and Nishant, how many times have you written? To return to our earth, Margaret hope. No, note of hope, not that hope. Okay. If you see page number 107, it is a direct question coming from your book. Page number 107. If you see, it is directly given. 107, last line. Give me 1 minute. I will just tell you the last portion. Okay. So let's come to the last part, which is I wrote that Margaret would get to see sun after 7 years in hope of despair. No, no, that is something which is not hope over here. Hope is this, that perhaps we don't know what has happened to Margaret. Okay, from that point of view, we had to write that perhaps these children will never. They have realized Bradbury's tale ends on a note of hope, as the children seem to feel ashamed, and full of remorse, and they would not bother this girl any longer. Even if Margaret is unable to return back to Earth, she will not be bullied on this planet. Section D. Let's come to section D. The daffodils part is extremely easy. Wordsworth uses the words wandered and lonely to describe himself. What mood do these words convey? This convey that he was in a sad mood, he was in a reflective mood. What led to the change in his mood? The beauty of the daffodils when he suddenly saw the beautiful daffodils, okay, on the Lake District of England. Next, number 2, how does Wordsworth describe the sight that met his eyes? He describes that the daffodils were bright yellow in color, they were growing beside the lake, beneath the trees, and they were dancing, okay, with the wind, all that brief description of what the poet saw, we have said. What does the poet compare this sight? He compares the sight to the stars in the Milky Way, to the stars in the galaxy, to the beauty of the waves. How is this comparison appropriate? You can even just talk about the stars, or you can just talk about the waves. Comparison is appropriate because the bright yellow flowers were appealed or influenced the poet so much that nothing could be better than that. And they were, if you are writing about the stars, you should have written that there was no gap in between. It seemed that there were thousands and thousands of daffodils, all all by the lake. So this comparison appropriate, just like the stars when we see the constellation of stars in the sky. Okay, number 4. What does the poet mean when he says 10,000 saw I at a glance? 10,000 saw I at a glance मतलब बहुत बहुत सारे, this is kind of a hyperbole if you have written that. Okay, this is an exaggeration because he saw so many flowers at once, bright yellow flowers at once, that he used a hyperbole explaining, uh, exaggerating his sight. Find two other words in the extract that create the impression of large numbers. Of course, one will be crowd, another one will be host. Two words, crowd and host. Next, what immediate effect did this sight have on Wordsworth? Immediate effect, if you see, it will be what? If you go to page number 26, the poem, you will find a poet could not but be gay. So outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. So his mind was filled with happiness. He became gay. He became filled. His mind was filled with happiness. How did it affect him in the long run? This one you have to write about. The last stanza you have to talk about that whenever he was sad or alone, and he was in a reflective mood, he was in a sad mood, and he suddenly remembered the beauty of the daffodils, the dance of the daffodils of that day. his mind was filled with happiness. Okay. Total gaming, don't keep on doing this, because there are some people who have written daffodils. It's not just you only that I'm teaching, isn't it? Just now you read this all summer in a day and you have forgotten what the theme of it, what the hope of it is. You're still going on saying skip daffodils. There are other people who have written. Okay. When you are learning literature, learn it from the heart. Don't feel that this is a chapter, I have read it, I've given the exam, I've forgotten everything. Okay. एम्पैथी को समझाने के लिए इतना सारा चैप्टर्स है. ओके. वही नहीं समझे तो क्या ही हुआ, क्लास 10 का एग्जाम ही हो गया, 90% मिल गया, फिर सब खत्म. What does this poem tell us about Wordsworth's attitude to nature? This one I have told you a number of times. In nature, he was a romantic person. Okay, he was influenced, highly influenced by nature, and therefore he he was totally in love with nature, and therefore the beauty of the daffodils could influence him so much. Just a single line is enough. Okay, highly influenced by nature, because he was a romantic poet. That's it. Last, I believe this is question number 7. Yes, this is caged bird. I know why the caged bird sings. Number 1, how does Maya Angelou describe the state of the free bird? First stanza, it is written, opening lines of the poem. Free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends. The last question would be striked out. Okay, they will strike out the last question, last answer. So describe the state of the free bird. The free bird, it dips its wings in the orange sun rays, which is symbolic of prosperity, of glow, of hope, of extreme freedom that it can enjoy. It can call the whole sky its own. It has too much freedom, or if you can say, it has extreme, it has everything. Give a brief description of the caged bird's physical and mental condition. If you come to the next stanza, you will see that the physical condition, its wings are clipped and feet is tied, right? That is the physical condition. Mental condition is rage, his bars of rage. So he is extremely angry about his condition, that he is deprived or she is deprived of all freedom. That's all. Explain the phrase grave of dreams. Many a times I have told you. Dreams of freedom. The caged birds, the African Americans always dreamed of freedom, but they were deprived of it. So dreams part we have said. So when they were constantly deprived and they were doubly deprived, okay, they kept on dreaming about it, but they perhaps knew subconsciously that the dreams would be, the dreams are dead. Okay, they would never be allowed those that they desire. Okay, number 4, what does a caged bird sing about? Of course, sing about freedom. Number 4, the free bird and the caged bird in the poem represent different groups of people. First one is American, next one is African American, caged bird. Name one group of people that you know would call caged bird in today's world. You can say that we can talk about the tribal people, we can talk about women. If you have to give a reason, okay, अगर women बोला तो ऐसा बोलना पड़ेगा कि even if they study a lot nowadays, they do a number of degrees, but because the security is not same in different regions, they cannot come out for jobs. They have to, they are married off soon, okay, for different reasons, and therefore their freedom is taken away, snatched away from them. So they might also feel like the caged birds, tribal people ke bare mein. If you are writing, you have to say that their homeland is snatched away from them. Okay, the forest in which they live, that is being wiped out nowadays. So their normal habitat is taken away from them. That also you can say. Transgender community, you can write good. Okay, that although they have been given a number of freedom by the government, they cannot exercise them. That you can say, because people, society do not accept them. That is also, you have to give reason. Okay. Last one, number 5. What does the title of the poem I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings tell us about Maya Angelou's life? Mention 2 ways in which the world of the caged bird differs from that of the free bird. So, first part 2 marks, second part 2 marks. First part में क्या लिखे? If you have studied my notes, this one मैंने notes पे डाली थी. You will see that Maya Angelou's life. Okay, title से Maya Angelou's की life के साथ कंपैरिजन करना है. फर्स्ट, माया एंजेलू's पेरेंट्स वर डिवोर्स्ड. सेकंड, शी वाज व्हेन हर पेरेंट्स वर डिवोर्स्ड, वो उसको ग्रैंडमदर के घर पे भेजा गया. वो आर्कनसस में था, जो बहुत ही रेसिस्ट सोसाइटी था, जहाँ पे ये डिस्पैरिटी वाज हाईली, इट वाज this disparity was high in that society, Arkansas. So Maya Angelou experienced great discrimination there. She was more discriminated first because she was African American, then she was a woman on the basis of race as well as gender. First point. Second point, she started writing poetry, but at the age of 7, she lost her voice. She did not speak for 5 years, and she got back her voice through her poetry. She started writing. Okay, when she started writing, she got back her freedom. She could speak of what she wanted through her poetry, and that is what we see in I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Okay, that she is voicing for her freedom. Two ways in which the world of the caged bird differs from that of the free bird. The caged bird can claim the whole sky its own. Okay, whereas the free bird can claim the whole sky its own. It has a lot of freedom, whereas the caged bird are doubly deprived. We see that its wings are clipped, feet are tied. Okay, one example. And another way is that the free bird is uh, the free bird waits for another breeze. After getting first one, it can ask for fat worms as food, but the caged bird is deprived of everything, and it's just standing on the grave of dreams, dreaming freedom. Okay, so these are the two ways. Number 5 is done. So daffodils question, two words which give impression of high numbers have been continuous and never ending line. Two words never ending line, ये क्या two words है? Find two words in the given extract. वो तो दिया ही नहीं है. इसमें क्या है? Given extract. Given extract में क्या है? When all at once I saw a crowd. This is first word, and a host. Host word is the second word. Collection. There is no other word which describes collection. Yes. Host and crowd. Katie is not the real name. So if there is a spelling error in the main point, that is your main, there is a key point, right? Kate is the main name. So they can deduct the full mark that is allotted over there. 3 names, so half a mark will be deducted perhaps. Even last class I told you, name, always remember the exact name, Kate. Okay. Okay, so we have done the whole thing. We have come to an end to our question paper, and that will be all for today. Those who want to share your question papers, those who are in class 9 and have come to class 10, uh, you can share your language papers to this email ID in PDF format. We can discuss them if you want. That is free of cost. These are the class timings: Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Perhaps I will try to make it from 9 p.m., 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Timings में थोड़ा सा change आ सकता है. You will be informed. And those who are asking for private classes batch, that will start from April, and your enrollment will continue only till the month of May. Okay, those who are interested, this is the email ID that you can write me to. Mention your class date and the number of desired classes you want. वेबसाइट में आपको बहुत सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगा, ग्रामर एक्सरसाइजेस, कंप्रिहेंशन एक्सरसाइजेस, जिसको मर्चेंट ऑफ वेनिस है क्लास 10 में उसको भी मिलेगा. You can use that. And Telegram channel ka link you will get in the description box. You can join over there. Is it right if I write Ukrainian people? Huh? If you have to logically give reasons why you are asking that. Okay. So black men you're talking about which one? I wrote caste name. I wrote caste name, ma'am. I wrote SC caste, schedule caste. That is also correct. Scheduled caste, the different castes, they are still not provided, although they are getting certain powers by the government. They are provided certain powers by the government. Society do not accept them. That also you can see. Tribals, fading culture, confined, an object of prejudice. Yes, correct. है हिस्ट्री सिविक्स, मैंने हिस्ट्री सिविक्स पढ़ा दिया तो आपको मतलब ये जो आप लोग बोल रहे हैं ना कि अच्छा है ma'am you taught well and all that, that will, it will become. History civics में आप नहीं बोलोगे. I was very bad in history civics. Don't ask me to teach. Transgender people, yes, I told you, no, transgender people, they have, they can opt for jobs, but do you think that we can accept these people beside us in the class? We still, society cannot accept them. Maya Angelou's life areas, is it correct? I told you, no, 3 4 points. First point is, you talk about the parents divorced. Okay, then she moved to Arkansas to her grandmother's house. Arkansas racist society था, वहाँ पे बहुत लोग उसको deprive किया gender wise, and also because she was African American, and she lost even her voice because of an assault for 5 long years. That poem, or the through her poem, she got her voice back. So that is why she is, her poem is also significant. Whatever she is speaking, it is what she has felt in her life. Okay. Of caged bird. I wrote beggars as examples of caged birds. Okay, but you can give reason like this, that once a person is a beggar, that person, even if he marries, even if he has a child, he cannot give good education to the child, right? So when the child is not getting good education, he cannot opt for a good job. Okay, and when he cannot opt for a good job, he cannot have a good life. He will also be, poor. So this will continue, and there is no escape from it. नो नो नो, इट विल नॉट बी रिपीटेड. अभी जो क्लास 10 में है उसको यही रहेगा. ओके, बट रेस्ट ऑफ इट विल चेंज. नेक्स्ट ईयर ये रिपीट नहीं होगा मयंक. ऑस्ट्रेलियन पीपल इन केज्ड बर्ड. ऑस्ट्रेलियन पीपल हाउ? Binita Sharda. I have written the women living in rural areas. That also you can say they have to carry out their family, their living, and they are often deprived of education. Total gaming explanation bad है तो why are you here? Don't waste your time, no, don't waste your time dear. Okay, अच्छा नहीं है तो कोई और जगह पे जाके इन्वेस्ट करो अपना टाइम, वेस्ट मत करो. यहाँ पे जो लोग क्वेश्चन आंसर्स लिखे हैं उसका आंसर्स आई एम चेकिंग. Okay, don't keep on saying the same thing. You have there are many other videos, many things that you will like. Go play a game instead. The activists, is there a class tomorrow? Mayank, there will be grammar classes from now on. Okay, all the classes, yes, I can understand Infinity. He is actually scamming. There are people. कल आए थे ना एक, क्या नाम था उसका, forgot. She was saying that she or he, I don't know, that she is more beautiful, or he, perhaps he is more beautiful than your teacher. Useless comments, no? It is like they don't have any. Yes, Molly, Molly, correct. There are people, when you have a free platform, no, there are people like this who will bother. प्रॉब्लम ये होता है कि इतना जल्दी जल्दी ये लोग इतनी बार कमेंट करते हैं ना कि बाकी सारा आंसर्स दिखता नहीं है. The activists who tried to oppose the political party and arrested. This is a good point. Who is this? Sid. This is a good point. Okay, they are often arrested. Very good. Are you in class 10? Very good point you have said. Perhaps caged bird had freedom of dreaming, but now it's also lost. Of dreaming. That is also correct. Maybe half a mark will be deducted. Half a mark maximum. Anshuman. It is good. It is of course a good art to spam. Do it, but it is useless. No, invest time in some good thing, something which is useful. Open a channel or do something from where you can earn money, right? यहाँ पे इतना बात करके क्या ही होगा? कुछ पैसा आएगा? कुछ कर पाओगे? Kansan Mundra, ma'am, I got full marks in MCQs. Very good, 16 out of 16. ICAC lover, just type the question once. Oh, can it be black people? See, black people का तो वही, मतलब black people poem में ही वही है. But you can write about them because that black people situation is continuing even now. These people are still not accepted properly in the society. Underground house. Tunnel would have been a better word, but ठीक है underground तो है फिर भी. Anshuman, that is what I said. Maybe half a mark they will deduct. Yes, you can get some marks, so you will get ICSE lover. Okay, so that's all. So we will meet again tomorrow. This class I wanted to give you the answer key as fast as possible. So I brought today's class. Tomorrow would be normal grammar class. Okay, class 10 students, the board going ones, do not join now. Finish your exam, then you join. It's my pleasure, Kanchan Mundra. When I see these comments, it makes me so happy. Can we write sympathy that towards Maggie's dead mother? Yes, they grew sympathy once the lady died. That you had to write. 15 in MCQ. Okay. Hmm. Prajwal P. Prakash, you can write that. He would have remained, he would not have lost the religion. Too much of revenge, the tendency of taking revenge, if it is too high, then we often lose a lot of things. Thank you so much, Aman Big. Very good coding hub. So that's all. We will meet tomorrow again then, same time, 8:30 p.m. and do some grammar. Okay. Yes, yes. Bad handwriting. If it is legible, you will get it. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much, everyone. No, marks will not be deducted, but it will be the last question. They will not correct. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much.